Hello there. Today we are going to do a deep comparison between the JPA frameworks and JDBC. So let's start with the JDBC because it is very important. Both are doing the same thing but in a different way. So let's talk about JDBC first. JDBC is Java Database Connectivity API, which is used for connecting the Java program with the database, or basically it acts as a bridge between a Java program and the database. It connects the Java program with the database and you can perform CRUD operations and advanced query using a Java program itself. You do not need to go to the workbench, or you do not need to go to the MySQL shell for executing the SQL queries on the specific database. And if we talk about the JPA frameworks, or if we talk about JPA, JPA's full form is Java Persistence API. Persistence API. It is very important. Remember the full form of this, because in interviews also several frameworks are there which are based on Java Persistence API. So that's why they will definitely ask some questions related to it. So Java Persistence API is not a framework. It is an specification. It is an specification, and based on these specifications or interfaces or guidelines, different frameworks are created, and those frameworks are used as a bridge between a Java program and the databases. I hope this thing is clear. And those frameworks are something like this: Hibernate. Hibernate is most used framework. It is used with Java programming language. It is highly used in industries. And the second one comes into the picture, which is Eclipse. Eclipse next. Another one is OpenJPA, and many like that. So these are the frameworks which can be used for connecting the Java program with the databases in an efficient and a very easier way. Both of these things, or both of these APIs or frameworks, are doing the same thing but in a different way and in a difficult or a easier manner. So that's what we are going to discuss today, that which one is easier and which one is difficult, and which one is optimized and which one is less optimized. So let's see. The first point for JDBC is it is low level API. Why it is low level API? Because for everything in JDBC you will have to write the code, like for connecting the database, or basically it is very near to the programming language. Like if we talk about the assembly programming languages, then assembly programming language, why they are low level programming languages? Because they are very near to the machines, or they are very near to the operating system. And in the same way, this JDBC is also very near to the Java programming language, and for everything you will have to write a lot of boiler code as well. That's why it is a low level API. And for connecting the database, and for establishing the connection, and for closing the connection, many things are required and lot of code is need to be written. That's why it is a low level API. If we talk about JPA frameworks or Hibernate or Eclipse next, then in these cases we do not need to write lot of code. Basically, if we talk about the JDBC and these frameworks, then all these frameworks are using JDBC behind the scenes. They have created a wrapper. And they have made your life easier. They have made the life of programmer easier by creating these wrappers. These are the wrappers on JDBC, and for establishing the connection, lot of code is need to be written, and you will have to remember the driver package. So they have created it very easy, like you will have to write com.cj and a package for loading the driver class. So they have made it very easier for you. You just need to call a function and it would be automatically connected, or the driver class would automatically be loaded. So that's why it is very easy. They have made it easy. So that is what the reason that it is a high level API. If we talk about the second point for JDBC, then it is controllable and flexible. Why it is controllable and flexible? As it is near to the programming language Java, or there is no wrapper on JDBC. JDBC itself is a low level API. That's why there is no wrapper, and hence we can create the SQL queries. We can create advanced SQL queries also. JDBC is controllable and flexible. Why it is so? Because we are writing lot of code, and JDBC is low level API. As it is a low level API, we are writing lot of code, and as we are writing lot of code, we are able to control the code according to us, because for everything we are calling the specific low level function. So according to the requirement, we can modify the things. In JPA frameworks, object relationship mapping is going on, but in case of JDBC, schemas need to be created. So it is very automated, and here we have to do the things. That's why it is very controllable and flexible. In case of JPA frameworks, object-oriented approach is used for creating the schema, and in case of JDBC, you will have to write the statement for creating the table as well. But in case of JPA frameworks, you do not need to specify the schema, or you do not need to write any SQL statement. They will do everything by themselves. You just need to share the object with them. Like you want to store student type of objects, or the student class that you have created. So you just need to create an object of student class, and you have to fill the values or the fields of that student class object, and you can share that object with the JPA frameworks. They will do everything. They will create schema for you. You do not need to write any create table like statement. So that's why this would be an advantage and disadvantage both. And if we talk about the third point, then the performance. It is performance based. JDBC gives you performance. It is optimized. If you want to execute the advanced queries using JDBC, then it is possible, and it is optimized and it is efficient. In case of JPA frameworks, if you want to execute the advanced queries, then it is not easy. It would not be efficient. That's what the case. And therefore, in companies also, if you want to perform the CRUD operations on databases, so JPA is preferred. But if you want to execute the advanced queries, then JDBC is preferred. That's what the case. If you want to perform the CRUD operations like insert, delete, update and select, then you will have to write queries in JDBC. But in case of JPA frameworks, specific functions are created. You just need to call a function, and you can be able to perform the CRUD operations according to a requirement. So that's why this is the benefit of it, and this is a disadvantage also. Now the fourth point is schema creation manually. Here you will have to, as we have already discussed, you will have to create, or you will have to use the create table statement for creating the schema. But in case of JPA frameworks, automatic schema generation is there. You just need to share the object, it will create schema for you. And in case of JDBC, SQL is used, but in case of JPA frameworks, specific language JPQL is used. That's why it is not efficient. JPQL is nothing but a wrapper on SQL. And when you are writing a specific syntax, an independent language is created by JPA frameworks creators, and that JPQL language, whatever query that you will write in JPQL language, that query would also be getting converted into SQL and then will be executed on MySQL or whatever RDBMS. So that's why it is inefficient. That's why advanced queries, if you will write the advanced queries, then it is inefficient in JPA frameworks. So I hope these things are clear. And SQL is SQL. You can write SQL in MySQL or whatever PostgreSQL. Everywhere it would be executed. And as we are using SQL in JDBC, so it is generic. And in case of JDBC, schema relationship is happening, and in case of JPA frameworks, object relationship happens. Or like we create the tables in SQL or in MySQL. But in case of JPA frameworks, object relationship happens, or object relationship mapping (ORM) happens, like we does with the foreign keys and all such things, or primary keys. So in this case, object relationship happens. In case of JDBC, the last point is the schema relationship. As in JDBC or in MySQL or all these things, we create schema, and we create primary keys, foreign keys and all such things for relating the one schema to another. But in case of JPA frameworks, objects are related to each other. There is no schema, objects are related, and according to the objects, specific schema is created. Both the things are different, and if we summarize all these things, then JDBC is preferred in many companies where the workload is more. In case of less workload, if the employees are not much educated, or if the employees are not having knowledge about the JDBC and SQL, and they don't know how to write programs using JDBC and Java, then JPA or JPA frameworks are preferred there, because they don't know how to write the queries. So that's why JPA frameworks are preferred. You just need to create the objects of the class, and you can use the functions for storing the data in database and deleting or updating or retrieving the data from the database. So I hope these things are clear. And hybridization is also used in the companies, as I have already discussed, that if companies want to execute the advanced queries, then they shift to the JDBC, and if they want to execute the normal queries or just the CRUD operations, the create, retrieve, update, delete, then they are using the JPA frameworks. in case of the CRUD operations or simple operations. So I hope these things are clear. If you are having any doubt related to this JPA frameworks and JDBC or this discussion, then you can comment below. I will try to get to you as soon as possible. And if you want any other discussion or if you want any other explanation, then you can comment below. I will try to create it as soon as possible. Thank you.